On today's episode, Facebook is like a party. What's good, everyone? It's Ryan, representing Sinister Media at sinister.media. And, okay, this one's a little bit more abstract. The lead-in I said, Facebook is like a party. I think one of the ways that it's easier to understand social media is if we don't think of social media as being such a strange thing and kind of understand that it's something that we all kind of intuitively understand already. And to demonstrate that, I am going to go over ways that I think that social media actually just mimics all of the social interactions that you normally have in regular life. So I kind of talked about this in the last video that I think that social media is essentially just humans being social, which are a bunch of patterns that we do already. And to that, I think it might be a little bit easier to understand the different social media platforms if you kind of understand the metaphors that they are in real life. So the first one that I like to think of is I like to think of Facebook as being kind of like a party situation. I think Facebook is one of the ones that gets a bad rap for being fake. People are fake on Facebook all the time. And I actually don't think that's any different from like if you were at an actual party with all of your actual friends. You don't normally go to a party like that and present kind of the worst parts of your life and tell them how you're having trouble paying your bills or I guess like on Facebook we talk about how our girlfriends just dumped us. But you know what I mean? Like you tell a story, like you're not telling the mundane and the individual pieces of your life necessarily. So in that regard, I don't think that Facebook is necessarily that much faker than real life. I just think that we interact more now that we're on social media and it's just easier to interact. If Facebook is like a party, then messengers are like a regular conversation. And so that's where your WhatsApps, I guess even Facebook Messenger, any kind of those one-on-one chatting applications, I think that's where people tend to have their more real communication. This is kind of important to understand is that, again, like my opinion and my stance that internet communication isn't somehow worse than in real life communication. I think the same metaphors persist, they're just different places for different things, just like in real life. And then if you consider like a messenger as being a conversation between friends, then Twitter is kind of like a group conversation where everybody is in on it. So if you're going into Twitter, the whole point is kind of like conversing and discussing with other individuals. From there, I'm a big Instagram fan. And I think Instagram, the analogy I came up with Instagram is Instagram are like your memoirs. So again, Instagram is another very highly curated, it's very curated experiences. Again, some people may call that fake, but if I were writing down or displaying the best parts of my life, if somebody's showing their wedding pictures, they're not telling you about how they woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and they're not telling you about how the caterer didn't have the right cake, and they're not telling you about, this, that, and the other that went wrong. They're just showing you the pictures of what went right. And that's kind of what Instagram's like, in my opinion. And then the interesting one, the newer player, is Snapchat. Snapchat is about telling stories. What is your story? And putting together a cohesive story and or narrative. I think those are kind of the biggest players right now. And then you have things like Periscope or Meerkat, which let you live stream, which I think are really fascinating from the perspective of, I was on Periscope today looking at the protests in Hong Kong. So those live events, it's kind of like the same thing as Snapchat, but it's not a curated story. You can do very like live in the moment storytelling. Pinterest is socialized scrapbooking. And I'm sure I could go on and on and on and on about this kind of stuff. But I think the point is just to kind of get you thinking in the mode that like social media doesn't have to be this weird foreign beast and what do I do and how does it work and all that kind of stuff. And I think like sometimes you get distracted by all these buttons and widgets and things on the screen and kind of forget that at the core of all of these platforms are just people, and it's just people being people. So hope that helps. Hope that gives you a little bit more perspective on social media and how to understand it. As always, you can send any questions, comments, concerns, anything that you want to ask the crew to hello@sinister.media. And as always, I am Orion, and until next time, peace.